View is live.
I actually think it was one of the best jobs that's ever been done.
PR disaster. The outrage over President Trump bragging that relief efforts for the Puerto Rican hurricane that killed almost 3,000 were an unsung success. Challenging the norm. The controversy over comedian Norm Macdonald's comments about the Me Too movement. Plus, Stormy Daniels and Michael Avenatti are back on The View with the latest on their legal battle with the president. And she's making a big announcement for the first time right here. Hot topics are on the table with Whoopi, Abby Huntsman, Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, and Meghan McCain. Now, let's get things started.
As the East Coast braces for this insane Hurricane Florence, you know who gave his take on the government response to Hurricane Maria, which claimed almost 3,000 lives and left Puerto Rico without power for 11 months. Take a look.
I think probably the hardest one we had by far was Puerto Rico because of the island nature. And I actually think it was one of the best jobs that's ever been done with respect to what this is all about. I think that Puerto Rico was an incredible, unsung success.
So
you can't. I don't want to laugh at that because Puerto Rico's suffering. Go ahead, but
still is suffering. I mean, how can people just, even the biggest supporters, say, "Well, no, he's right"?
It's so
crazy.
I don't know how you can do that. Even if you support him, there are some things that are indefensible, and they're so out of touch from reality. And a lot of that is because he hasn't been on the ground there since right after it happened. A lot of these deaths took place after that storm because of the lack of resources. It reminds me of Hurricane Katrina, and under George W. Bush. You remember it was 4 days after that where he was complimenting the head of FEMA at the time, Michael Brown. He said, "Brownie, you're doing a heck of a job."
Yeah.
I can't imagine a year later George Bush saying what President Trump did because he knew politically you just don't do that.
Well, I think it's humiliating, it's embarrassing for our country, and I don't think this president cares. I don't think he cares. And, you know, when you talk about Katrina, the deaths in Puerto Rico eclipsed Katrina by 1,100. So we're talking about even more deaths. I mean, you know, this was very personal to me because my family suffered for months and months and months. And as all of you know, I went there right after the hurricane. And I think what is shocking is that he's calling it a success when his administration just took millions of dollars away from FEMA to give it to ICE. $1 million. $1 million. $1 million.
No, 10 million.
No, 10 million. It was millions. $10 million when we're approaching the hurricane season. And I think Senator Murphy said it best. He tweeted this: "I mean this seriously, not a political dig. If you're in Florence's path and considering writing it out, your president just said that a hurricane response where 3,000 die is his measure of success. Get out of there."
Well, can I just add, I would say to him and to those people that because they live in on the mainland and that they vote in North Carolina, South Carolina,
he may care more.
He will care more about them. The Puerto Ricans do not vote in the presidential election.
No, he didn't care about my people.
I think that's the main reason he doesn't care.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I don't know if he doesn't care about Puerto Ricans, but
I don't think he cares at all, Abby.
I do think he cares about covering his own butt, and he never wants to admit defeat. And in this case, it all goes back to politics, and he can't stand that mayor in Puerto Rico.
Yes.
That they've had that fight from the very beginning. But to that $10 million,
and she was right.
The $10 million that we now know was given to
ICE.
But to the zero tolerance policy, what HHS is saying is that money couldn't have been used for a disaster relief.
Well, this
anyway,
is what
I don't know what the real story is, but that's what they're saying.
This is what I don't understand. Money can be used to do anything.
Yes.
So I don't understand. What did the money say? Oh, no. You can't, no, don't spend me over there. I mean, I don't understand how it couldn't have been used. I mean, it just, look, he's living in a whole other realm of reality. And it's insane. it was not a success in Puerto Rico. And the congressman is right. Yeah. If this is his measure of success, if you're in the path of this thing, get out of the way. Even if it doesn't matter where you are. Yeah. Because if you're Puerto Rican or black or white or Asian or Italian, it doesn't matter. Life is life, right? Mm-hmm, yeah. So if you're thinking that you're not going to take care of my spot when it gets wiped out, meanwhile, I'm paying taxes that goes into FEMA, so it is my right to get this protection. Yeah. I've paid for this protection. If it's that easy, none of us are going to be happy with our FEMA relief, because it doesn't seem that there will be any.
Well, I'll never forget the woman that I interviewed in Puerto Rico. Her name was Blanca. And her entire home was destroyed from top to bottom. She showed me the letter from FEMA giving her $500, saying that was all they could give her. And I asked her, what are you going to be able to do with that? And she said, nothing. I'm going to have to live here. Mold on the walls, wet mattresses. I mean, that was the FEMA response. And you mean to tell me this administration takes away $10 million, FEMA dollars, to make sure that they can put kids in cages? I mean, that's the focus of this administration.
The takeaway that I have is that woman's story, and there's so many of those in Puerto Rico in the recovery. And then the statement that you heard yesterday, just the disconnect as a leader, that your #1 job is to protect the people that you serve and to connect with those people. When they've gone through a hard time, you let them know that you're there for them and that you feel with them.
And you don't throw paper towels at them either.
Well, but you actually have to serve them. You actually have to serve the people. And if the person who's supposed to be serving you is not doing a good job, then you have to take care of yourselves. Which leads us to say, once again, if you are in the path of this storm, get yourself out of there. Because what happens is, it's not just you. I know that because it's people's houses, and maybe that's the only house they've ever had, and they bought it and it's theirs. You can't fight a hurricane.
No.
You screaming at the hurricane is not going to change its path. But the other thing is, when you don't look for the place to go, that means other people have to come in and try to rescue you. And it endangers their lives. And so it's not just you who's in danger here. So if you're in the path or get out.
Can I just also mention that what people seem to fail to realize when we talk about these 3,000 deaths, Sanjay Gupta, my friend, was in Puerto Rico very quickly after the hurricane struck. And he said something like over 90% of the additional deaths that happened after the hurricane struck were preventable.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the fact that this government allowed its own citizens to die. I thought that's what we only saw in dictatorships.
So it was deliberate on us. Yeah. Nothing. Go ahead.
You sure?
No.
Because there's more space.
No. That's a strong statement.
And I mean it.
It's clear. No fuzzing around there.
But the thing about him, though, I just say one little thing about it. He's incapable of telling the truth, you realize. People need to understand. Bob Woodward's book, Fear, the main thing he comes away with is that the guy is incapable of telling the truth. This is a lie. Everything's a lie every single day. And his administration, people who work with him, they cannot reason with him. He never backtracks. He never says, okay, I'm changing my mind. Right. They show him the facts. He disputes it. He lies. He's a sociopath, I'm telling you.
Well, I'm thinking bigger picture about the hurricane relief. And I remember I was doing coverage at another network on it. And I would think about our men and women that were on the ships that were going out. It's a difficult place to get to, and that was part of the problem. And it's, I think, dangerous to paint a broad stroke or brush across all the people that were trying to help and were there doing their job. And there are a lot of people in this country that were there to save lives. And so I just think we need to be careful when we have this conversation. And with the statement from the president, which, as I said earlier, is indefensible, there are a lot of great people in this government and in this country that are standing up and are trying to save lives and make a situation
Unfortunately,
better.
The real power is in the presidency, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
He's the one who calls the shots, so he has to take
Especially
the blame.
when it comes to
George
FEMA.
W. sort of apologized and said, he didn't do
well,
the right.
He had to.
He had to.
It was a
this
disaster.
man will never apologize. If he lives another 20 years, God forbid, if he lives another 20 years, well, he could be like 105 by the time we've got him here for the next...
Well, that was a moment for him yesterday. That was a big moment for him.
He will never, ever backtrack or
to be the adult in the room and to say, I'm the leader here, and...
but he didn't want everybody in the room laughing at him. When he said, I'm the leader here, they were, no. You know, tomorrow, comedian Norm Macdonald will be here. But last night, The Tonight Show canceled his appearance over his defense of Roseanne Barr and Louis C.K. and comments about the Me Too movement. And so we're going to have a lot to talk to him about. So tune in tomorrow. Today, we'll be right back.
Still ahead, Cardi versus Nicki. The wild Fashion Week brawl that has Cardi B and Nicki Minaj on the attack. And which pop star just weighed in on it? Stormy Daniels is back today on The View, and she has a lot to say.
I'm done being bullied.
Things are about to get stormy when Stormy Daniels hits the table today on The View on ABC.
I said last night, The Tonight Show canceled Norm Macdonald.
Wait, let me clarify something.
I'm so sorry. That's right.
The last segment, I don't wish the president ill. I really don't. I just want him out. I mean, sometimes I hear him say things like, I think I could be president for life. And it's like, no! Yeah. So it's really about that. I do not. I never would say something. I didn't mean that, what I said.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. All right.
So Norm Macdonald canceled on The Tonight Show. And the question is, you know, should he have been? Should he have been canceled?
Because
he's made some statements about the U2 movement and the Me Too movement, and made a statement about Roseanne and about Louis C.K.
But this is one of the things he said. He said, "I'm happy the Me Too movement has slowed down a little bit. It used to be 100 women can't be lying, and then it became 1 woman can't lie, and that became, I believe, all women." And then you're like, what? So it's almost as if he's sort of saying that we're taking the women at their word without due process. And that's an argument that a lot of people have right now.
But because he said that, they canceled him on the Fallon show?
No, he said a number of things. He also said that the men that have been fired because of the Me Too movement, their lives are ruined, and that the victims will never go through what these people have gone through. To which I would say to him, because I know a lot of women that have been through really, really bad experiences that stay with them for the rest of their lives. I would love for him to see them crying on their bathroom floor, wondering if they could live one more day with this.
Right.
On his new show, I wish that he would have 20 of these women on, and he would hear their stories, and he would listen to them and understand where they're coming from, because that is the problem today with all of these controversial conversations. Is we talk past each other, we're not understanding the other side of it, and as a man, it's really hard to believe what he's saying, because he's not a woman. He's never been through that before. Right. And I hope he changes his mind.
You know, in the 70s, we used to do consciousness raisings. The women did, so that we would see, oh my God, my life is not going where I want it to go. Well, now the men need consciousness raising. They need to sit together with each other, with women maybe, or with each other, and talk about these things. Because they are not doing good things right now, according to what we read.
I think Jimmy Fallon should have had him on the show tonight, because I would have watched it. I think it would have been a great conversation. It would have allowed him to maybe explain where it's coming from.
Except that, you know, I suspect, because NBC is the home of Jimmy Fallon's show, that with all of the stuff that they've been dealing with Ronan Farrow and
Matt Lauer,
and conversations like that, people would have expected Jimmy to either be prepared to answer questions, should Norm have them for him, about what happened over at NBC. And it's not Jimmy's thing. It's just not, that's not who he is. So I think, and he said to Norm, you can come back. I think tonight's not the right night, you know, because folks are upset. And so you know. And
it used to be that comedians could get away with these types of jokes.
Oh,
so we're living in a completely different, very PC environment. Joy, are we being too hard? Do you think too judgmental?
Well, we're in a phase. We're in a phase. Hopefully we'll come out on the other side and people will be a little bit more balanced and with the...
But you often say, Joy, you know, when is someone allowed a comeback? Like Louis C.K. or Roseanne Barr. And I think Norm was talking about that as well. When is it okay for people to come back?
Louis
What do you think?
C.K. did a set at Comedy Central recently. And my disappointment in him was that if you're going to do a set down there, talk about, you know, the fact what you did to those girls in your hotel room. Let's hear about that. Make that funny.
Just be transparent about it.
Yeah, he didn't do that. And that's my objection, because I know Louis C.K. would have never thought that he would have been like this. But you just don't know people. But, Norm's coming on tomorrow.
Yeah.
And, what better place than to be surrounded by 4 women?
Yeah.
And, he did apologize.
He did. Norm Macdonald issued an apology on Twitter that said this: Roseanne and Louis have both been very good friends of mine for many years. They both made terrible mistakes, and I would never defend their actions. If my words sounded like I was minimizing the pain that their victims feel to this day, I am deeply sorry. That was to your point.
Yeah, he also said on Stern this morning, he said that he was told staffers and senior producers at the Fallon show were crying over the issue, though unclear what exactly they were crying over. Well,
they might have been just
we'll tell you what it was tomorrow.
Yeah, he'll tell you.
Yeah, that's a tease for you. Tune in tomorrow for sure.
That's right. Again, we'll be back.
Yeah.
How does Stormy Daniels feel about Michael Cohen saying in court that Trump told him to pay her off? Is her lawyer, Michael Avenatti, about to announce he's running for president? They're both live on The View. Next
on ABC.
Since the last time we had our next guest at the table. So we have so much to catch up on right now. Please welcome back Stormy Daniels and her lawyer, Michael Avenatti. So let's dive right in. Stormy, Michael Cohen, President Trump's fixer, someone that you know pretty well, recently pled guilty to 8 felonies, including charges connected to the hush money deal that he made with you. Now, after months of denials, Cohen told the courtroom that he was directed by Trump to pay you for the principal purpose of influencing the election. Right. What was your reaction when you heard that?
I was actually over in Europe, and Michael called me and said that Cohen was going into the courtroom. We weren't really sure what he was going to plead to or what the things were, but it was a very good chance that something would be in relation to me, and that he would call me back. Well, the time difference, everything, I tried, and then I fell asleep. When it all happened, I woke up to my phone exploding, and one of the first calls I got was from my bodyguard, and he was just so excited, and, I was like, calm down, tell me. And he told me, and it hit me so hard. And I didn't really think that it was going to. Like, out of all the things people have said to me, all the things, that has happened, like, that news is what was like a punch in the gut.
Did you feel vindicated?
I was so overwhelmed, I just broke down into sobs. Because I didn't realize how much pressure I had felt. People call me all kinds of names, and who cares? But to be called a liar and people not believe me for months and months and months had really taken its toll. So it was just so... vindicated. I just felt like all this weight came off my shoulders. And, Travis said, how does it feel to now know that the world knows that you've been telling the truth?
Well, now Cohen says he's going to tell the truth about the whole thing. You just described what you put through. You're going to believe him? Do you believe anything he says now?
She can believe that.
Cautiously, I'm hopeful. I don't know if I believe it, but I'm hopeful.
Do you believe he'll tell the truth?
I have hope. I don't know if I do or not.
You think he'll tell the truth, Michael?
I think now he's going to tell the truth. I don't still entirely trust him. But look, I think if it's a competition for truth-telling between him and Donald Trump, I'm going to put my money on Michael Cohen.
Well, wow. Some context. Talking about truth-telling, Trump told Fox News that the payments came from him, not the campaign, and that he only knew about the payoff after Cohen did it. Believe that?
No, I don't believe that at all. I mean, I do not believe that Michael Cohen undertook this on his own without the knowledge of Donald Trump. I think that both of them conspired together.
We heard the tape.
Yeah,
there was a tape.
It's on tape.
We heard the tape.
There's the tape. There's the tape relating to we don't know which payment of many payments, but I think there's no question they conspired together. And any claim that Donald Trump didn't know anything about this, I think, is a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah. Well, how would he know who to pay? You know what I mean? Somebody had to say something.
Yeah,
they weren't just handing out $130,000 checks to anybody that knocked on the door.
Because I'd have collected one if it was that easy. I'm just saying.
Right.
So Michael Cohen made more news over the weekend when he had who in the White House both offered to tear up your $130,000 non-disclosure agreement. And they said they weren't going to enforce it. So Does that mean you are free to talk now, or is there like a secondary?
No more NDA.
No more NDA?
Have I really been respecting that anyway?
I didn't think you were, but I figured I'd ask.
But no, I'll tell you, when I read that on, online the second it happened. I just happened to be on my phone. And my initial reaction was joy again, because it was just another step in proving that I've been honest and the whole thing is crap. And then, I realized that now you want to make this offer? Oh, now you want to make this offer. If everybody remembers, months ago, we offered to return the money, and suddenly, like, they wouldn't accept it. So but now it's gone too far, and I think that there's a bigger picture here.
Right.
And
so
there's people depending on
Why did you pull it, Michael?
Well, I mean, I think they pulled it because they're very concerned that we're going to get a chance to depose Michael Cohen and Donald Trump, and they don't want me to have an opportunity to ask Donald Trump questions under oath and for him to have to answer those questions and then for the world to hear those answers, because I think it's going to be very, very damaging to Michael Cohen and Donald Trump, and they're doing everything they can to avoid that situation.
This, as you know, does not impact the Trump base, right? The Access Hollywood video came out before the election even took place. Why are you so keen on keeping this lawsuit alive to depose the president?
Well,
why not just be done with it?
We don't know what impacts the Trump base until something actually impacts the Trump base. And it's like they used to call John Gotti the Teflon Don, and they used to claim that he was untouchable.
But is that your goal then? Is that your goal to switch the Trump base?
No, right up until they called him the Teflon Don, right up until he wasn't, and he died in a federal penitentiary. So I think the goal here is for all the facts and the evidence to be laid bare for the American public, and they're going to make a determination whether they're with him or against him.
Well, he pulled a fast one by pulling out of that NDA in a way. It's to his benefit to do that. As you said, he doesn't have to go under oath or any place, so you got it. But he's still guilty, so go get him.
Well, I think, again, we're going to wait and see as to whether we're going to get a chance to depose Donald Trump and Michael Cohen, but we're going to continue to march forward because we want the facts and the evidence laid bare.
And so, just a quick legal note to be clear, Trump is still denying the affair ever did happen with you, Stormy. Still suing him for defamation for calling you a con job on Twitter.
Which is one of the reasons I'm not going to roll over with this. We'll tear up the NDA.
But why would he pay you $130,000 if he never had an affair with you?
That's a question.
That's the magic question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. That's why I said I'd have gone and collected some dough, too.
Yeah.
Who doesn't need $130,000?
Yeah, I don't understand. So, Stormy, this was a big hot topic at this table. Back in July, you were arrested and spent a night in jail for touching audience members while you were performing at a strip club in Ohio. Take us back to that night. What exactly went down?
A little background. I have danced all over the country and have for many years. More years than I'd like to admit. And I've danced in Ohio at least a dozen times. I am very familiar with the laws in each state and what I can and can't do. And most of the laws vary slightly for a guest star, which I knew. I got in trouble because they were undercover officers sitting at the stage. They put dollars in their mouth and asked for a motorboat. And I did that. And then
I now know what a motorboat is.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
I took the tip with my breast, which is something that I've done in every club, every performance, unless expressly told you have to stay 6 feet away.
Is that a big
yeah, it's a thing that the features do.
They don't go to the club. I do.
There you go. Yeah. 2 important things. I know several other girls who've gotten in trouble for a very similar violation, and it's a misdemeanor. The cops write you a $1,000 ticket on the spot. Done.
Okay.
No big deal. You don't get arrested. You don't get hauled in and mugshot and strip searched and all the things that happened to me.
Did you just say strip search?
Yes. And second of all, I think it was entrapment in my personal opinion because they asked me to do it. Then the police officers actually did not arrest me immediately. They stood in line, paid for autographs and photos with me, and then yes, and then came to my tour bus and arrested me.
Yeah.
We all
Yeah. That's twisted.
On the upside, I got a beautiful mugshot out of it.
You did. You had the best mugshot I've ever seen.
And it's now come out. It's now come out that, in fact, a number of these officers were big Trump supporters. This appears to have been politically motivated. There's an investigation ongoing, and they were charging the taxpayers for their alcoholic beverages while at the club. I think they had a good time, actually, at the club, from what I can tell.
Yeah.
Oh, my. We'll be right back with Stormy Daniels and Michael Avenatti.
watch The View, but you're not at home?
No.
Well, that's okay. Take us with you. Now you can enjoy The View for free on your favorite podcast app.
Welcome to The View, yes!
Let's get to some hot topics.
Keep up on hot topics in the car, at the gym, even walking the dog. Just subscribe on any podcast app and check back every afternoon for a new episode.
Eternal Michael Avenatti. Stormy, you have an announcement to share. Tell everybody what it is.
Oh, you're gonna let me do it?
It's your book?
Oh, you just did it! I knew you would let me have that. I have a book coming out October 2nd.
Wow. Cool.
All right. The book is called Full Disclosure.
The book is called Full Disclosure.
Well, you were only with Donald Trump, like, for what, 2 times? How much can you disclose?
There's a lot.
Really?
In the book, but the book isn't just about that. That doesn't define me.
No.
And a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, you did this for whatever." Everybody who knows me and has known me for a long time knows I've been working on a book for about 10 years. So I just sort of melded everything together. I've kept notebooks for the adventures I've had on the road and in strip clubs and stuff. It'll blow your mind.
But are you going to give details of that night in the hotel with?
Yes.
You are.
Yes.
That'll be juicy.
It's full disclosure. That's why I named it that.
Stormy, you sit on that.
The president just puckered.
I have a feeling maybe he already heard through the grapevine that was going to happen. But you already spoke to that. There are going to be a lot of people that are just hearing this that say this feeds into what I've thought the whole time about Stormy Daniels, that this was always about making money and making a name for herself. And now it's just a platform and she can write a book and it will sell.
It'll probably sell better than my book would have before, but all the stuff that I wanted to include and have been working on. As a matter of fact, I actually did a test listening read of a book 3 years ago at the Exotica conventions. I held panels where I tested chapters from the book to see how it would do. So the book was always going to happen. It just now has more information
I'm not sure that, everybody writes a book. Everybody writes a book about all kinds of stuff. And, if you write a book and it sells well and it does well for you, what's the matter with that? I don't understand why people have such
a lot of times you need a platform to sell it, though. You need a name to sell it.
But let me say this.
Yes.
The first time that I read this manuscript, I had to put it down 3 times because I was so moved by this book. This is an incredible book, and I think people are going to be very moved by this book, by its content, and they're going to learn a lot about this incredible woman who I am proud to call my client and my friend because she's had an amazing life, and this book is incredibly insightful, and I am very anxious for people to read it.
I have to agree with that. I read a couple of the excerpts from the book, and I was really just struck by the details that you put in there about being a stripper, about being in the adult entertainment industry, things that I never knew happen, and the women that are involved, it's a dangerous profession, and you go into that quite a bit, and you also go into your love of horses, and I'm an animal lover. I was really struck by the story of your horse, Jade, and how she was sort of untamable, but you tamed her. Is that some sort of metaphor?
Metaphor.
Maybe.
Okay.
We got another sneak peek into some of it about your time at Cinema and the strip club that you were. Some of it is so raunchy we can't even really say it on the air here.
You didn't really think I'd hold anything back.
No.
Is it a book you'd want your daughter to read? And learn
Yes,
from?
but not until she's of a certain age.
What do you want
for sure,
yeah. What do you want people to learn from? What do you want them to take away from it?
The book is actually dedicated to my daughter. It was written for her. I felt, and there was a period of time where I was like, great, now I can't write a book, even though I've been working on this book for years, because people are going to use it against me and say I did it for this reason, so I can't write this book. And then that has now turned again after, everybody knows that a lot of the 60 Minutes was cut down for time, and there are things that I said in my interview that I really wanted people to know that were very important to me that I didn't get to say. So I was like, I'm going to write everything and include it, and people can think what they want about me, but at least it's the truth.
Well,
it's not like they haven't been thinking that about me anyway.
You also had a hell of a childhood, and you survived it, and people will be knocked out by the
That's
book.
interesting.
Just saying.
It's going to be a long 3 weeks before the book comes out for Donald Trump.
Yeah, but you know what? It's not. That's a piece of the book. The book is really about you.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing here.
And it's in your words. You could tell you wrote it.
Yeah, there's a lot of four-letter words in it. I didn't realize I was that bad until I read the final version.
Yeah, you're not alone, Ben. We'll be back with more Stormy Daniels and Michael Avenatti.
Stormy Daniels and Michael Avenatti. Stormy, over the summer, Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, had this to say about you. Let's take a look at that.
When you look at Stormy Daniels, I know Donald Trump, and look at his three wives, right? Beautiful women, classy women, women of great substance. Stormy Daniels, explain to me how she could be damaged. I mean, she has no reputation. If you're going to sell your body for money, you just don't have a reputation.
Says Mr. Family Values.
Right.
What would you like to say?
Well, first of all,
to him,
he looks like Toad from Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. And he's going to talk about how I look? Yeah, okay. And the whole go-to sell your body, so does a mechanic, so does a coal miner. You're all selling your body for work.
Yeah.
But
it's honest work.
Yeah, but the only irritating part about that is that he thinks that because I work in the adult industry, that I don't know right from wrong. My job does not have anything to do with my character.
And I'm sure there are times in your job where you think about that man's family and what he goes home to. Have you thought at all about Melania and about Barron and how they might have been impacted by all of this?
I have thought about it, but I'm not, I can't comment on what another woman might be thinking or feeling.
Well, you've gone through a lot personally, too.
Yes.
Your husband's filed for divorce.
Right.
Try to get full custody of your daughter. Where do things stand right now?
We have worked out things. They just visited me a couple days ago on the road, both of them, and we had a great time in Boston. We've agreed to work everything out, not in public and not in court, and everything's 50-50.
He accused you of cheating, though, right, originally?
Yeah, and I actually confronted him about that. And it's like, what does this mean? And he said that he didn't even know what he was talking about when he put that in.
Well, that's what people do when they go for they try to put the worst thing they can put down.
People make all kinds of
they say all
allegations
kinds of stuff
when they're going through divorce.
Not that I know anything about that.
But look, let me say this. Comments like what we just saw from Rudy Giuliani, comments like that, and comments from Tucker Carlson and some of these other pigs that are men that make these comments that belong in the 50s.
You shouldn't say that. Pigs are the smartest animals.
All right, well, we need to come up with
magic animals.
But I'm going to tell you, no man should be making comments like that about a woman, period.
Yeah.
Period.
But Michael, they never watch porn, these guys. I'm sure Rudy and Tucker have never watched porn.
That's what's so ironic. You have Rudy Giuliani and Tucker Carlson and all these others that want to criticize her for being a porn star, want to criticize me for representing a porn star. These are the same guys that they're probably blowing up their porn account 5 times a day.
But they also
what hypocrites? What hypocrites?
But they also back Trump, who wants to grab women by their genitalia.
Right.
So, come on, the hypocrisy.
Right. I'm sure that Trump's never watched porn, right? I mean, I'm sure that.
And you know what?
I know he's watched at least one.
Even if he did, you know what? The sad thing is that because they have these stereotypical ideas of what they believe porn is and who people who work in porn are, they kind of bleed it out on people. But, everybody's trying to make a living. People making a living. A lot of dancers are putting kids through college. A lot of dancers are doing stuff so they don't have to go and do other stuff that they are not comfortable with. You just can't. You can't paint everybody with your idea of what they are. Just saying. I got a lot of friends in the business.
Especially in America. This isn't Russia.
That's
not yet. Not yet, exactly.
Wow. Sorry.
What about the sketch?
What about the sketch?
Okay.
You can ask since you brought it up.
Revealed on the show, remember back in April, you allege it's of a man who threatened you in a parking lot, Stormy. Do you have any leads about that?
So let me answer that. We got a number of leads. We've actually narrowed it down to a handful of people that we're continuing to look at. We don't want to just come out and make such an accusation until we know exactly 100% who it is. But this goes hand in hand with why we're trying to get this deposition of Michael Cohen and Donald Trump. Because it's our position that Michael Cohen likely ordered this man to intimidate her for all the reasons we've previously said. And we want to ask Michael Cohen about that when we take his deposition.
Well, maybe he'll tell you because he's on this new track where he wants to tell the truth.
Well, we're going to find out if he's really interested in telling the truth.
Stormy, are you going to endorse Michael Avenatti for president? Or have you not decided yet?
I haven't decided. I'm going to let him sweat it out a little bit longer.
Tough sell.
If you can't get Stormy.
Well, I'm not running yet, am I?
You tell us.
I don't know. I haven't made a determination.
Well, what's gonna be the deciding factor then?
I'm going to continue to travel around the country and talk to people and see if they're supportive, and if they are, then I'm going to do it. Because look, we got a lot at stake in 2020. The Democrats can't get this wrong, and whoever they nominate better be a fighter, and they better be able to beat Donald Trump. And if they can't do that, they don't have any business running.
All right. Our thanks to Stormy Daniels and Michael Avenatti. Stormy's memoir, Full Disclosure, will be available October 2nd, and we, of course, will be right back.
Comedian Norm Macdonald's taking heat for his controversial comments about the Me Too movement, and he's hitting the table live tomorrow.
Yeah, welcome back. Yeah.
The book?
What? What's the matter?
Well, I'm in between a rock and a hard place because I said I would do something and now I'm being asked not to because they're nervous about it. And I don't know what to do. So... All I can tell you is that what?
Don't have the ability to do it right now, but we'll update people accordingly when we can.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to put it in when you find out the real information?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So, you know, Gayle King did an amazing thing, which I can't tell you about because we're at the end of the show.
Yeah. No time.
So we want you all to have a great day and take a little time to enjoy the view.